And welcome. You're watching Chartwise Women with Ellen McGonagle and Erin Swenlin, brought to you each and every Thursday afternoon. We bring to you very topical topics and that can really help you get your arms around the broader markets and successfully really outperform the markets as well. We're bringing to you our many years of experience. Erin, how are
Yes,
you doing?
I'm doing well. It's certainly been, while the country is in upheaval, at least the market has been really fun.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Thoughts of a roller coaster come to mind, and yeah, actually, you're bringing us right into today's theme. We are going to be taking a look at really how the markets just fell out of bed going into that election. Of course, the uncertainty, we saw volatility really pick up, but during that period, during that sell-off period, a lot of very attractive names that are fundamentally sound came to us in bargain price territory. So we are going to be taking a look at how you can uncover those stocks, number one. Even more importantly, how can you tell that they are in a position that are poised to trade higher, or are those stocks going to remain out of favor after pulling back with the broader markets over the last 2 weeks? So let's go ahead, Erin. We're going to do our wisdom of the week, and I'll go ahead and let you share your wisdom.
Oh, all right. Mine is the second bullet, and that is that sector rotation and industry group analysis will help you find those bargains and also help you find the best entries. And I know we talk about sector rotation all of the time, but I think it's a really important concept, and it does really tell you a lot about the market very quickly.
Right, exactly. And I agree. You want to make sure that that stock you are considering is in a group that's in favor. That's going to certainly be one of the very key ingredients. And my wisdom of the week this week is all about pullbacks. And I know for a lot of people over the last several weeks, this pullback was really quite painful. We saw some big drops in formerly leading stocks. A lot of those FANG stocks really got hit quite hard, technology as well. And while they can be painful, they do oftentimes present opportunities, an opportunity for you to get into that stock, certainly at a lower price than when it was at its peak. But there's going to be caveats there. So you're going to want to make sure that that stock, again, is poised to trade higher. We're going to share with you our tips, our secrets from our many years of investing and educating others. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. I'll share my screen initially. And what I'm going to share with you is that concept of how can you tell if your stock is in what we call, is it in style? In other words, is it poised to go ahead and trade higher? I'm going to blow this screen up. So this first example that I'm sharing with you is Etsy, ETSY, for those of you not familiar. It's an online platform for individuals that are very crafty, if you will. It's more than that, but it's individuals that are selling their goods to the public. And this company really has just been blowing numbers out of the water. There's been a real need and a desire for their products. It did start out with masks, and then more recently, they've gotten into home design. A lot of people are putting money toward their homes because they're spending more time there. So, but let's take a look at the chart, because that's what we really want to key in on. And a couple of things I did want to point out to you, and this is based on my work. The Etsy has been a big winner for the MEM Edge report, and I'll share with you the characteristics that can tell you that your downtrend has reversed. Now, this is, of course, that horrific bear market in March, but the characteristics that got this stock back on our suggested holdings list, number one was the price of the stock broke back above this red 50-day simple moving average. That was the first significant event. Take a look. It occurred on volume. And then I want to see those momentum indicators turning positive. So up above that 50-day on volume. Let's draw our eye up here. We can see the RSI also at that same time turned positive. It went up above that net neutral 50. And the MACD, moving average convergence divergence, the black line crossed up through the red. That's telling you that the momentum has shifted into a positive phase. So that's what you're going to be on the prowl. We did also have a nice double bottom here with a lower, a higher low. And so really take a look at the significance of all of that action. So as we move forward, we can see other telling items. This is when Etsy reported earnings, hit a new high, but they pulled back very orderly. But again, that price break back above that 50 with a positive RSI and MACD and volume characteristics are telling me that this pullback back here in August into September had reversed. Now let's take a look at where the stock is now. Etsy did tumble despite record-breaking earnings and sales. They did guide higher into next year. So that's a key component for me. I want to know that the growth prospects are strong for that stock. And we can see that over the past several days, the stock has those same dynamics. It's broken back above that 50-day simple moving average. Your RSI is positive. Now, your MACD, you might argue that the crossover has not occurred, but it never turned negative. It did not get down there below that 0. So that crossover is not going to be as necessary of an ingredient as it was back here. When the MACD got down below 0, that's when you're going to be on the prowl for that crossover. So the fact that the price broke above all these key simple moving averages is even more bullish. So that's my big example. That's telling me that Etsy is in style and poised to trade higher.
Excellent. Well, one of the areas that I like to look at pretty much every day would be gold. And I think gold and gold miners is one of those areas where they are either in style or they are not. And gold itself has just not been doing much. This is Barrick Gold. So this is actually a gold miner. And, you know, really, like I said, gold itself, and I'll show you gold itself because I do happen to have that. And that would be right here. There we go. So gold really, it had this amazing run. Everybody wanted it. It was, you know, one of the big winners coming out of the bear market low. And then all of a sudden, everybody kind of lost interest. Gold just wasn't in favor anymore. And you could see early on that it was overbought, that you had momentum that was very overbought. There were a lot of things going on that took gold out. And then you could see how as it just started to move sideways and trend a bit lower, your RSI went negative. But now we're starting to watch it. And I haven't been ready to sign up for gold, but this is as of yesterday, because this is the continuous contract, right? So if we look at GLD today, same kind of chart, really nice breakout. So we're probably going to see that breakout on, of course, gold, the spot price. So now gold is becoming more favorable. People are more interested. And so if you're going to go that direction, you probably want to find either an ETF that follows gold, or in this case, this one is one I recommended on Tuesday for the decision point diamonds, because we were starting to see this beautiful falling wedge, bullish pattern, and we'd just gotten the breakout right here. That's when I called for it on Tuesday. And it didn't do much the next day, but of course now we're getting that breakout, and it seems that gold is now finding favor again and is in style, as you say.
Oh, I like it. And would you attribute that to the US dollar or?
Certainly the dollar is part of it. But what I'm finding, honestly, and if I just bring up this gold chart again, if I can find it, here we go. One of the things that I watch of the sentiment really that tells you if people are really in it for the longer haul or just are interested. And every time we have these discounts, that means that you're really not seeing a lot of retailers, you know, in there, your retail investors, just your regular investors when you see this. But when you start to see that move up, that tells you there's interest. That tells you that not only is the dollar the issue, but in D, do you have extra buyers or you have extra sellers? And part of the easy way to look for that, of course, you mentioned the dollar, so I'll just quickly show it.
Sure.
But one of the ways you can test that theory, if you will, is, so right now the dollar is down 0.91%. Well, what does GLD look like? Oops, not gold miners. Yeah, GLD. Gold is up 2.34%. So we know that probably just under a percentage point is due to that change in the price of the dollar. But the rest, that's buyers. That's interest.
Wow. I'll take that. That looks
Yeah.
great. All righty. We're going to take a very quick break. When we get back, we're going to share with you stocks that have just today or very, very recently reversed their downtrends from those pullbacks and get you in front of some very high quality stocks that are poised to trade higher. We'll be right back. And we are back. So let's go ahead. This is certainly an exciting period where Erin and I are going to share with you stocks that have reversed that downtrend from those sharp pullbacks. And from my work, these are going to be stocks that, again, they are high quality. They have very sound growth prospects, and they look attractive. So let's not waste a minute here. I'm going to go ahead and show you this first example. This is another big winner. Of course, I like to share stocks that I'm very familiar with and that I know have very strong growth prospects. This is PayPal, PYPL. Of course, they are the digital online payment platform, and they've seen huge growth during this lockdown period as digital sales have increased very dramatically. So we can again go back, take a look at that downtrend reversal out of the bear market. It was one of the first winners, gapping up on earnings and just really continuing to power. More recently, it did fall out of bed. This was that September pullback, and we can see that it did attempt to hit a new high in price and pulled back. But what we're looking at is a screen that you can run quite simply, looking for stocks that have broken back above this red 50-day simple moving average. I talked about that RSI trending upward, and we can see this MACD just poised to trade upward as well. Now that's one stock. When we get to our next segment, I'm going to share a couple of stocks that are they're on sale for a reason. They don't look as attractive. But let's go ahead and move. This is another area. I'm going to share with you a stock, another one from my MEM Edge list. This is Qualcomm. And you can see that the stock, I actually sent out an alert yesterday because the stock looked so bullish. And you can see that today it is up about 12.5%, huge volume, nice crossover here, MACD and RSI. But that one is going to be a little bit extended. We can take a look at other stocks in semiconductors. This is a favorite area of mine. And we're looking at Broadcom, a big provider, certainly to the Apple iPhone for components. Their chips are widely used. And we can see that this stock today has now broken up above all of its key simple moving averages. And I point that out because oftentimes these can become resistance. And then we can see the RSI and that MACD poised to turn positive, nice volume characteristics. So those two thematic areas, and then I'll carry that into our next segment as we look at names that are not in style, so to speak. Erin?
All right. So we want to find some stocks that are reversing a downtrend. Am I correct?
Yes, today or recently.
All right.
So the group.
Everybody knows I'm a scan. That's how I find everything. To me, is I scan. So first of all, I'm just going to start real quick with that sector summary. This is a 1 week of what all of the sectors are doing. And you can see that healthcare and materials over the past week are definitely leading the pack. But really, it's a great market. Just about any area right now is going to be pretty good, with the exception, I think energy is still, you can see that downtrend just in that little thumbnail. We're really not seeing a reversal there. I know everybody's watching that sector. I know I am, but it's not reversed that downtrend. So some of the areas, you know, are healthcare and materials. So I ran my scan, and this is a scan that I call, well, it's my dad's scan. I call it Carl's scan, because what he looks for are things that are changing momentum but have really bad, you know, moving average setups, but they're starting to change that. So here were a few, and I'm just going to show one and then I'll let you go on through. But you can see this was in a pretty stiff downtrend, but it came up because we got that crossover on our PMO. It's very it's our momentum indicator. It's the one I use at Decision Point. We can see the RSI moved up. So we had this downtrend, started to reverse, and that was why it came up on this scan. So I'm looking for things that have bad momentum, maybe have bad setups on their EMAs currently, but are starting to make that move out. This one's actually started to make that move a little bit quicker.
Yeah, we are seeing a lot of telecom stocks up over the last 2 days. TMUS is a name, and a number of others that are really picking up. That 5G theme is really taking steam. Okay, we have time maybe to do our next little segment here.
Yes.
And stocks that are on sale for a reason. These are stocks that are not, they did pull back, but they're not looking as attractive. I think I only have time for one name here. So let's go ahead and take a look at a stock. This is Visa. And it is, of course, one of the major credit card companies. Visa, MasterCard is another one. Both companies came out with earnings, and they were not good. MasterCard looking even less attractive, because a lot of these credit card companies, they do get big profit margins as US travelers go overseas. Of course, traveling has been all but cut off, so they are seeing a big decline in their revenues. So we can see that it's attempting to turn, but these longer term moving averages are in a downtrend. So I would argue cheap, but for a reason. So
Right, exactly. Definitely
right.
not a good area of the market right now. Financials, I think they're perking up a little bit, but certainly better areas.
Yeah, bank stocks are on a move. Okay, so that is our show for today as it relates to bargain hunting. Let's go ahead and move on to our last segment, where we talk about something interesting that's occurred and then talk about stocks relevant to that. So this week's headline, Erin, I don't know if you want to.
You always find them. I wish I could take credit, but apparently, you know, we're talking elections and all the craziness. Well, this is a good, not crazy story. We have a French Bulldog apparently that was elected mayor in Kentucky.
That is absolutely right. This is more a charitable event. It occurs every 3 years. And this year's French Bulldog is named Wilbur, taking the place of Bryneth Paltrow. And you can see that it has a little bit of a jokiness to it, but they do raise quite a bit in the way of funds for charitable, for animals. So let's take a look at a couple of stocks. Erin, if you want to.
Absolutely.
We have Chewy is one, it's a digital only online pet product provider.
Yeah.
And
I know it well. Do you use that for your little
yes,
dogs?
we do. They come.
I do too.
Oh man.
Best place to get those dog toys that they always run out of at the pet store.
You bet. You bet.
It's been through some consolidation right now, but it does look like it might want to try and break out right now. You've got, you know, sort of that diamond sort of shape right here. But it does look like it might want to break out here. This one has been in favor.
It's a volatile name, so I know it because I've tried it on my MEM Edge list, and it's just too headachy. So
Yes.
I'll let it bounce around. But I do have another stock that certainly I can share that is in the same space. They just came out with earnings, and it's a very attractive looking chart. It too held up despite the broader markets. We're looking at Freshpet, FRPT, provide fresh food products to retail stores as well as online. And take a look. This is very constructive to me in the sense that the stock held support here at this upward trending 50-day simple moving average. The stock broke out of a base, gapped up on very strong earnings. And we can see that nice MACD crossover, black line up through the red. RSI is trending positively. So a very good looking chart. You're not going to see a lot of these where it held in just so tight and remarkably well, despite a very, very tough broader market period, and then off to new highs. Erin, I don't know if you want to look maybe GIS, that's
Oh,
General
yes.
Mills, and
General Mills. I should pull that up. That's a staple. Am I correct?
it is, and they do have a pet food product division among their food products area. So
Yeah, pretty much in a trading range here. And as I usually say, you know, your consumer staple stocks, typically this is what you're going to see are swings within a trading range. Right now, we're pretty much right in the middle of that range. And I do see this overhead resistance area right around $62, $63. That's going to be the check mark for General Mills, see if we can get past there. But you can see we've already broken above this short-term declining trend, which is nice. And you've got that momentum that it has shifted up very beautifully, I would have to say.
yeah, and it's hard to say why. They did come out with their earnings over a month ago. So just kind of trending upward. And there, I know there was talk about people hoarding food and such back to that. But so I don't know if we'll see these packaged food products companies kind of trend higher. We'll be on the lookout for that,
Absolutely.
of course. So
Absolutely. Well, we have time, I think, for a couple of more, don't we? Or am I wrong?
I think we do, actually. I may have cut short that other period where we were looking at stocks that were down and out for a reason, and I can certainly go ahead and cover that.
Yeah, I've got my screen up and just some of those names and the places I've been looking. Like I showed everybody some gold miners. I still think that that is an interesting area. I think that it still has higher to go. Harmony is another good choice, I think, as far as a gold stock. The one I told you I recommended was gold itself, Barrick Gold. And this one, of course, has the special designation that Warren Buffett decided to throw a lot of money into Barrick Gold. Am I correct?
It's always, yes, always a vote of confidence there, of course.
Absolutely. So yeah, it has made that big run, but you know, I just don't see why it couldn't continue higher. Like I said, it looks like gold is shiny and people are very interested in it. So that was a materials stock. And let's see.
And I do have a number of watch list stocks for people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's part of what I do, you know, with the Decision Point Diamonds. So these are all stocks that came up, like I said, that are kind of coming out of the moray, if you will, of what they were in. But materials have really looked good. I've liked a lot of those particular stocks. Let's see what one. I think Amcor was one. It looks interesting. Yeah, you can see right now, I liked it earlier in the week and I still like it. You're getting the breakout, a positive RSI, but not like too overbought. Look at that buy signal has come in. So there's a lot of good stuff out there, I would say, in terms of
absolutely. Yeah, that stock AMCR is on my watch list.
Wow, see, perfect. Yeah. We always think alike. We always do.
Yeah, I mean, you think packaging, of course, with this digital, you know, online sales and the need for that, there is. But I can go ahead and share. I have a couple of
stocks. Go for it. I know you have a bunch of names too. We might as well get going here.
Yeah, you bet. So these are names that I would suggest you put on your watch list. They're poised to reverse their nominal downtrends. McDonald's, and let's take a look because the stock has been in a very nice uptrend here. They came out about a month ago and they pre-announced their earnings, their U.S. sales. And what they did uncover is the fact that U.S. sales is growing. It's back in growth trend. However, global sales are still declining. They're due to report their earnings on Monday. You do need to know that. But again, we are going to be on the lookout. If they come out with strong numbers, look for that break back above that 50-day with an RSI to turn positive and MACD. Another name that we can look at, Erin, we talked about telecom and mobile.
Yes.
5G is back in style. And this is a stock that just today, JP Morgan upgraded. So we can see that it is trying. It did break back above that red 50-day simple moving average, but pulled back. I also want to point out it has a 4.3% yield. We can see the RSI is now positive, and we're getting that nice MACD crossover. For those of you that are yield oriented, take a look at that. We can also point out one other one in the telecom space, T-Mobile, TMUS. They merged with Sprint a while back, and they are now the largest provider, certainly of 5G. This was a big winner for us on our MEM Edge. We did remove it when it broke below this 50, but I have it on my radar to potentially add back on because of that nice break back above these key simple moving averages, RSI, and then that nice signal crossover on the MACD. And I don't know, I don't want to take all the time, but I do have a couple of other.
I would bring up one, and you can
Yeah, you go
show
right
it on
ahead.
your screen, but what are you thinking about Netflix right now?
That is the name. It broke back above, and there's another one in this space that did break back above. Now, here's the thing with Netflix. They came out with earnings, and the numbers were not that good. Take a look at this dip down. They did see a quarter over quarter drop in subscribership. And the thing is, the Netflix had warned Wall Street about that. Wall Street looked the other way, had grand expectations, and unfortunately did not come to pass. Now, more recently, Netflix announced that they are going to increase the cost of subscribership by $1 per month. Analysts hurdled that. They liked it, but it's kind of struggling a bit in here. Technically, we can see that the RSI is positive, but the MACD, I'd like to see that crossover and a break above that net neutral 50 to at least indicate, even if it is a shorter term, but that's going to be more convincing for me. And I'd like to see a bit more volume.
Absolutely. Yep. That was one of them on my list of something to watch for as a possible entry point. We're seeing that gap getting closed. I think that looks great.
Sorry. I left it too soon, but yes.
Oh, no, we're good.
And you're absolutely right. This
Disney,
gap.
that was the other one I had.
Get out.
No way. We don't always do the comparison beforehand, so it's always interesting.
It's fun, yes. So we can see now Disney's been struggling, certainly. This would not be on the top of my buy list, if you will. It is not being heralded as a leader in that digital space. They're kind of struggling a little bit there, but we can see that it's just trying to break back above that 50 and not having tremendous success. You're not seeing any real dynamics here. MACD, it's kind of having that crossover, but not a lot in the way of volume. So yeah, I would, of the two, if someone were to ask, Netflix would be more interesting to me.
I have to agree with you, but Disney, it's looking interesting. I would want that declining trend to be broken. We're not quite there. That declining trend is still in top play.
You bet. And then I did want to point out just very quickly some of these bank stocks. So we do have some winners here. Certainly, this is SVB Financial Group, up another 5% today, but not all is well. These bigger banks are struggling. This is Citi, very, very much in a declining downtrend here. So not that interesting. Bank of America, these bigger banks are struggling, but you can find winners among the smaller. We've been able to highlight a number of them that are up 10% this week from my MEM Edge report, but I think we are just about out of time. I want to thank everyone for joining us this week. And if you have any suggestions for shows, we'd love to hear about that as well. As again, we do enjoy sharing our wisdom with you. Everyone, have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Hey, Grayson Rose here with StockCharts. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, consider giving it a like down below, maybe leave us a comment, and if you're new to the channel, you can subscribe at the link up above. We're gonna bring you daily content from an incredible collection of technical analysts and financial experts.